You don't need to be a chef to know that food tastes bad. You don't need to be an audiophile to know that something sounds good or sounds bad. You don't need to be an installer to understand that that's properly installed and not properly installed, right? So, all right, hey guys, Jerry from Showtime Audio. So we have this gorgeous 2023 Tundra in for a stereo rescue. So it was done by somebody else, and it is just not fantastic. And the client is just not happy. It doesn't sound the way he thinks it should. It's not great. So, and again, we wanted to show you some of it to educate you, not to put anybody down. We'll show you the way it's done, and then we'll show you the way we do it. But there's some basic things that you can't deny. You don't need to do car audio to know that that isn't right. Come on, as I show you. So took apart the dash, and this is the tweeter, and this is the custom tweeter adapter that they made. I don't know what they cut it with. And then on top of that, both screws didn't line up apparently. There's only one screw, which is actually in crooked, probably cross-threaded. So look, I mean, look at this thing. Oh, that's awesome. And they broke the tweeter. Oh, wow. That is not fantastic. Okay, more fun. All right, so that's number one. And that's just the first thing I've taken apart. Nothing else in the car. They also just drilled a hole in the door and put this 3.5 or 3 inch in the door, and then the 6.5. So we're gonna take the door apart and see what that looks like. Show you the amplifiers. So number one is, look at this. So there's just wires not tucked in. And again, it's just drives me insane, but check this awesomeness out. So we have this awesome piece of plywood. Same thing that he didn't even cut to his own line. There's the line he drew, and there's what ended up with. But it's not painted, it's not carpeted, it's not nothing, right? And then it's not mounted or anything, and it's got really good gear. There's an Audison amplifier as well as an audio controlled 1000 watt amplifier. And then, if that isn't amazing enough, look at the wiring. So apparently this floor mat is magic, and it makes it disappear. So, but the problem with the magic is, as soon as you pull the floor mat up, the magic goes away. So you got the speaker, the amp wire, speaker wire. This is the power connector that's just, you know, rolling around in here. So, I mean, even down to the, again, I am super picky, but even down to we cut these wire ties, but that one apparently got away from us, you know? So again, it's just little things, right? They're just little bitty things. Sorry, they gouged the door a little bit there when they were taking this panel off. And again, this is a brand new truck. So the client obviously loves the truck, obviously loves music, because he spent a lot of money in the music, and they get a horrible experience, right? So to me, that's always really rough, because what we do is fun. It should be fun. You don't need any of this. You don't need any of this. You want it, and you pay money for it, right? It's a luxury, it's fun, it's your passion. It should be that way. You should get in the car, turn it up, and go, that was the best money I ever spent. It should just make your day. It should make you smile every time your favorite song comes on, and you just, so it worries me when clients get this experience, because it turns them off from car audio. They're like, they don't want to do it anymore because they had such a bad experience, or they spent every dime they saved up to do it. They saved up a bunch of money to do this, did it, and now they have to pay somebody else to redo it and spend a bunch more money, right? So definitely do your research. It's the reason we do this, because we want to educate you. We want you to know what's going on. So we took out the seats because we obviously have to get to all this. We're going to redo it anyway. Might as well make it easy, right? So this is, and again, great gear, but install, not So great. So this is a Audison Forza. It's a C8. So basically C8.14. So basically it has 8 channels of output. So now what that is to run the system entirely active. No crossovers, ideally. So you have 2 channels, the tweeters, 1 and 2, the mid-range, 3 and 4, the door subs, 5 and 6, and the rear speakers, 7 and 8. So with this, you could run the entire system without any crossovers. And there's only 4 channels of output coming out of the deck. We still got to check it and see what they did, because I don't think it's set up properly. So we're gonna log into it real quick, see what they did. But just wanted to show you. So, I mean, it is just kind of, you'll see when we redo it, what the difference is. And you can judge whether this is great, acceptable, or not, versus what we end up doing. So now the other thing is why I tell you. So people they crimp wires. I don't know if you can see that wire in there, right? See the little wire? Now watch this. Do you see it moving? Look at this. So that just shows you. So it's improperly crimped. So even though it's a gold terminal with good wire, the whole 9, but if it's crimped improperly, you're gonna have noise, the amp's gonna overheat, you're gonna have all these issues. They did grind the paint, which I'll give them that's awesome. They did pick up an actual bolt, so that's also awesome, right? Because it's a physical ground, so that's secure. But if the wire, you can just yank it right out of the connector, does nothing for you, so it's kind of useless. I'm sure this one is the same. I gotta take this sleeve off, but look at this. Actually, no, look at it. Look at this wire. Look at how I can just, that is insane. And we see that a lot. People think they crimp it, and because it's crushed, they think that it's a good connection, but it's not. There has to be a dent, or the crimp has to be a ton of pressure, which is why we use like a hydraulic press. So this way we ensure that thing in essence becomes fused on there. It's not just, if you crimp it with some manual crimpers, which is most likely what they did, that's the results, right? It's not a long-term connection. People are like, well, why does it matter? Who cares? It's crimped. Here's why it matters, right? Because if you want to not have weird gremlins, weird issues, weird noises, engine noise, all kinds of craziness, you don't want a bad ground, because that's what completes the circuit and powers the amps, you know? Ground is just as important as the power. Everything's important, but though that's probably one of the most important is power and ground. They need to be solid connections, okay? All right, second, so we got this amazingness. So they took an adapter, made an adapter, and then kind of deadened it. I still have to take this apart to see, but this is the way they sound treated the vehicle. I don't know why they picked this little spot. This isn't even, I mean, it's not even connected. Like, so the way deadener works is it bonds to the surface and adds mass. So that mass keeps the panel from resonating. If it's not adhered to the panel, it's doing nothing, right? It's just literally really fancy tape at that point. That's another no-no, right? Other thing is, so we have capacitors on the drivers. Now, these, you can even see on here, it tells you, which is kind of cool actually, it tells you the frequency response. So this capacitor on a 4 ohm driver creates a frequency response from 0 to 2.8K. This one creates a crossover network from 0 to 300 hertz. So this has to be the mid-bass driver. This has to be the middler. The odd thing is you have a full-blown DSP. That's a Forza. That's like one of the best out there. There's no need for a physical crossover. It's redundant unless you didn't set up the crossovers in the Forza and you're relying on this to do the work. But that defeats the purpose of having such a fancy DSP amplifier. So again, assign these are signs that let you know that the amp is not set up properly. Again, another little thing. So this amplifier alone takes 4-gauge input. So they ran a 4-gauge, then split it. So now it's a 4-gauge and an 8-gauge. But this wire is no longer a 4-gauge because you're splitting it. So this amp is consuming some of the current. This amp is consuming a lot of the current, right? Even though you split it and it becomes a 4-gauge, it isn't magic. It doesn't, this little block doesn't generate more current, right? Ideally, you would run a bigger gauge and then split it into 2 smaller gauges. Or what we prefer is home runs. We call them home runs, right? You run a full run from the battery to this amp and the battery to this amp. Other reason for that is because then you can put the fusing up front, and it just, for serviceability, it just makes it easier than trying to find the amps, especially if we bury the amps somewhere and they're very difficult to get to. Also, if you've seen any of our videos, if you want to disable the system, I can press a couple of breakers, system's disabled. With this, I have to find where they did it, where the fuse is, where the breaker is. It's just more work. The other thing too is the longevity of the install, right? So yes, crimps are okay, these things okay, but the longevity, I mean, you see, this is failing already. I mean, I'm barely touching it. So imagine how long that's gonna last. The gear is gonna arc and do all kinds of weird things, so it's gonna burn out sooner. This is why we do things a certain way. We want it to work for the longevity of the car. Plus, obviously, the client bought good gear. So it's like, okay, well, you know, maybe the client didn't wanna pay for the install, maybe the client, whatever. Okay, but he bought good gear. So if he's willing to pay for the good gear, he's probably willing to pay for a good install. Now, you have to explain to him what a good install is versus a bad install, and then you have to do a good install versus a bad install. You can't charge for something and then deliver this, you know? So you have to deliver what you say, and that's, I think, where the disconnect comes in, because the clients, you know, people say, oh, the client's cheap, they didn't want to pay for that. They didn't want to pay for this. They'll pay for quality. They'll pay for a quality install if you can convey to them why they need a proper install. You know, if you want to get the most out of your expensive gear, you need to do a quality install. If you want 50% out of your gear, then you do this, you know? So, but ideally, we want what we paid for, right? We want the most out of this Audison. We want the most out of this amplifier, the sub, the speakers, all of it, right? Otherwise, we would have bought, I'd have you buy lesser stuff with a better install. We talk about this all the time. Buy cheaper stuff. I know that sounds horrible, but buy less expensive gear and pay for a better install. The result will be better, because 50% of this stuff is probably 100% of lower stuff with a proper install, if that makes any sense, right? So just keep that in mind when you're budgeting for your system. I'd much rather you see you spend the money on a reputable shop that does proper installs than spend way more money on gear and then have a horrible result.
Visit our website at showtimeaudiochicago.com.